Hey friends. I I've been reflecting a bit on something that came up when I was at the uh, last week. I attended a Suzuki string camp. It was a 1 week long sort of institute. My daughter is a violinist, young daughter is a violinist, and she was attending. And it was a whirlwind of teachers and classes and new ideas, and I was navigating all of it with a 5 year old. So, and sort of like experiencing it through the eyes of a 5 year old. It was remarkable. It was like taking a 5 year old to college for a week, to music college for a week. So very cool. If you are interested in those experiences, go watch my post from last week. But something showed up for me that I've kind of hinted at and even talked a little bit about, but never really zeroed in on as a sort of key topic in its own right. And that is basically the experience of being around a, a good number of really excellent pedagogues, really excellent teachers, and each kind of with their own style, their own personal touch, their own kind of way of doing things, but being around a bunch of music teachers, and particularly a handful of those teachers who were just really excellent, really powerfully present human beings. That experience did two things. One, it reminded me of being in the presence of some of my great teachers. And there's just nothing like that. It's an amazing thing to be able to be around someone who loves their subject matter, who understands their subject matter so deeply, and who has a passion for communicating that, for teaching that, for lighting other people on fire with it, for watching those young minds or old minds or whatever, just other people come alive with inspiration as they learn something. That feeling is it's one of the most valuable things I can say I've ever experienced. And to the degree that I've had that effect on any of my students, and I'm pretty confident in that in at least a couple of instances I have had that kind of effect. To the extent that I have experience with it, it's the most thrilling thing I can do. I'll speak for myself. It's one of the most thrilling things I can do. And I suppose I kind of assume that that's part of me. It's almost like it's something that I feel like I've been blessed in a way to have had as many great teachers as I've had. It's a little insane, the number of remarkable, fantastic teachers that I've had over the years. And so there was on one level just a thrill at seeing my daughter at age 5 be in a room with some people like that. And she's 5. She's 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 probably not reflecting on that experience yet, and analyzing what that means to her, but she does resonate with it. She does, in the presence of a great teacher like that, come alive. Because the thing about a great teacher is they can communicate to anyone. They can find where anyone is, whether they're 5 years old or whether they're 65 years old. They can find a way of reaching in there and just lighting someone up with a new experience, a new insight. And so, like I said, on one level, there was just the appreciation of watching that happen to my daughter in a way that she's going to be able to reflect on for her whole life. She's going to remember that she did this. And then there was the level on which it reminded me what I'm really about. Because watching some of those people in action, watching some of those teachers in action, it reminded me what lights me on fire, what really gets me inspired. And I think I sometimes oddly lose track of that. And it's a little weird to me that I don't that I lose track of it, because it seems so whenever I connect with it, I'm like, yeah, what? How obvious is this? But then I sometimes can kind of drift or get away from it, and so that was a big part of it. And I think there's also a level on which recognizing that about myself and recognizing how much I value that form of human interaction, that wonderful relationship, that wonderful magic that happens when a great teacher meets students, especially a receptive and eager student. I don't know how I could ever lose touch with the fact that that's kind of like the core experience that I love to have. And, maybe that's not worth dwelling on. Maybe it's not worth figuring out how I lose touch with it. It's just important to recognize that I, A, keep coming back to it, and B, keep being endlessly, deeply inspired by it. And it doesn't ever seem to diminish as a motivator for me. So, yeah. I've been looking at what this all might mean for me. What I might do to open up my heart to this, my soul to this, to really embrace this. I sat there thinking, I could live a life like this. I sat there watching these great teachers and thinking, I I could do this. This could be this would be a deeply satisfying life. And I can get myself turned around. I can get myself kind of twisted into like, well, but this other stuff is important to me too. Yes, it is. Some of it. But almost nothing is as consistent as this, or really, ultimately, as deep. Occasionally, I'll engage in a creative project that feels like it's just a full expression. But so often, it's the process of communicating about the practice that I find so inspiring. And it's funny because I can tell my daughter does too. As soon as she understands something, she wants to teach it to you. I mean, like, she goes in one ear and it comes right out her mouth the next minute to somebody else. She loves that. So maybe it's genetic. But it feels good to connect with that, to kind of go on record with that, to put some chips down on that, which I suppose really I haven't done yet. I can just tell that I'm going to. But that's where I am today, folks. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great day. See you soon.